Hello! Guys, it is November. So, I'm going to be talking about the end of year book tag by, what is it, Ariel Bissett, I believe is how you say her name. And then I'm also going to be giving some cozy book recommendations and some books that I'm excited to read before the end of the year. So yeah, let's do it. There are 6 questions to the end of the year book tag. The first one being, are there any books you started this year that you need to finish? Okay, I only had one book, I'm pretty sure, that I started this year but did not finish, and that is Red Rising by Pierce Brown. I was enjoying my time. I got up to chapter 17, page 124, so I got a good chunk into it. However, I think I started it at the wrong time because I was looking for a light book. Okay, that's wrong. Well, it's kind of right. I was looking for a book that was going to excite me because this is sci-fi and it's, you know, kind of fast-paced, and I've heard that it's really, really good. I was like, okay. However, I think it was a bit too heavy for me during that time. I should have picked up something much lighter and that I could read very quickly. So I put it down and I didn't finish it. However, I do want to finish it. Will I finish it by the end of the year? Probably not. But that's the only book that I started and didn't finish. And I'd say that's a win in itself. Next question is, do you have an autumnal book to transition into the end of the year? You Again by Kate Goldbeck. This is completely autumnal. Like, this cover is the epitome of autumn books. I have heard mixed reviews on this one. I'm pretty sure it's a enemies to lovers sort of situation. It's very much giving When Harry Met Sally. Some people love it. Some people think it's slow. Some people think that the main characters are unlikable. So I don't know. I am excited to read it though. It is a nice floppy romance book, which we love. I've actually heard it leans more literary fiction with some romance elements, which I think might be why some people going into this book think that it's a little bit more boring than they were hoping, because they're looking for like cheesy rom-com type situation, but I don't think it's really doing all of that. I guess we'll see. The next question is there a new release you're still waiting for? And I don't think so. The only one I can think of is Wind and Truth by Brandon Sanderson, but I'm not anywhere near close to being able to read that book. I've only read the first book in the Mistborn trilogy, so that's really the only new release that I can think of right now, but it's not even something that I'm going to be reading probably for a long time. Next question is, what are 3 books you want to read before the end of the year? I'm gonna do this in sort of like a, I need to finish these series before the end of the year kind of thing. The first book that I'm going to say is Two Twisted Crowns by Rachel Gillig. This is only a duology. There are only 2 books in this series, and I just need to get it done before the end of the year, or I'm afraid it's going to be a long, long time before I pick this one up. I just finished One Dark Window like a month ago, and I've talked about it in a few other videos that I've posted recently, but that one was kind of just okay for me. Like, it was good and entertaining, but it wasn't like an amazing fantasy book. What I am excited for with this one is that I have heard that it's better. So I'm just gonna hope that that's true and try to get through this one. Next, speaking of Brandon Sanderson, The Well of Ascension. This is book 2 in the Mistborn trilogy. I'm not thinking that I will finish the Mistborn trilogy this year because this is huge. I think this is like, yeah, it's almost 800 pages. So I think this is a good goal. Just getting to the second book of the trilogy. I'm excited for this. I'm ready to get into the universe and love his books like everyone else does. So I need to just do it. I need to commit, and I need it to stop scaring me. And lastly, I need to finish the Powerless series with Reckless. This is book 2, technically. There is a novella, I guess, in between Powerless and Reckless. Can't remember what it's called, but I did not read that one because I wasn't super impressed with Powerless. I felt that her writing was kind of mediocre, I guess. The plot was a Hunger Games ripoff, pretty much. Like, it was the exact same thing, except more of a romance subplot. So it just wasn't really impressive to me. But I do have the second one because it ended on a pretty crazy cliffhanger. So that intrigued me enough to pick up the second one. And I feel like this one could be very similar to the Two Twisted Crowns book, because if I don't pick this up soon, I'm afraid it's going to be a long time before I actually do. Next question. Is there a book you think could still shock you and become your favorite book of the year? Okay, I'm reading right now and I am really, really liking it. And that is Project Hail Mary by Andy Weir. I'm just really enjoying it. I am about halfway through, I would say. Page 214, chapter 13. It's really good. It's sci-fi, end of the world. The fate of humanity is left to one person, semi-trapped in space, and it's kind of up to him to save humanity. The writing is a little bit corny. It gives off, what's his name? Ryan Reynolds. Kind of gives off Ryan Reynolds humor, and the main male character is very much like that in this book. But so far, yeah, I'm loving it, and it has a very big chance of becoming my favorite book that I've read so far this year, because I have not had a good reading year, guys. Luckily, we're hopefully coming to an end with a good one. Okay, last question. Have you already started making reading plans for next year? Yes, I have. I've been thinking of a lot more video ideas that I can do. My main thought right now is a video series where I go through all of the popular genres and figure out which genre is my favorite. And we're gonna kind of pit the genres against each other, and I'm gonna read 3 books from each genre and then rate those books, and then the average of the rating becomes the genre rating, and then whichever genre has the highest at the end of the series, I guess, will be my favorite genre. We'll just have to see what happens and how the data adds up. Also, more mood reading. Mood reading in a sense where I don't want to pick up a book just because I've heard someone else say that it's good. I think that's kind of screwed me a little bit this year, because I've picked up a lot of books that I just ended up not liking at all. I think that is where this bad reading year has come from, is that I'm relying on other people's opinions more than my own opinion and what I think is going to be good. So we'll see. That's also part of the reason that I'm doing the genre series, because I want to find out which books I need to be gravitating towards to really enjoy my reading experience again. Those are my plans. Now I'm gonna go into 5 cozy books that I would recommend you guys for the winter season, the end of the year, Christmas time, you know, all of those nice feelings. So I only have 4 cozy book recommendations, but it's 4 series, so it's a lot more than 4 books. Starting with, it's not my least favorite, but it's like maybe the least cozy, I guess. And it's the Good Girl's Guide to Murder series. I love the series, and I kind of want to reread it again, or the first one at least. This is like a YA murder mystery series. In our first book, our main character Pip is trying to solve an unsolved murder that happened in her hometown. But she's doing it as a school project, which is kind of fun. And it's the kind of book that has a lot of really cool, like, visual points, I guess. Like, it has production logs where there's scripts and stuff. There's charts, there's text messages. So it makes for a really nice reading experience and a very quick reading experience as well. But back to the plot. We're following Pip as she uncovers this murder, and as the story unfolds, Pip kind of starts to also have a little bit of mystery happening to her, because whoever did the crime doesn't want their secrets outed, right? So she's getting a little bit of backlash from it as well. She turns her school project into a podcast. It's her uncovering the mystery through this like true crime podcast type of structure, and it's just really fun. It's a really good time, super quick reads, and just so entertaining. And it's cozy because it's like a nice little murder mystery that is not super heavy, but is still like really good even to an adult reader. Definitely recommend this one. I have only read the first book in this series, and that is The Pumpkin Spice Cafe by Lori Gilmore. There are 3 books total. The second one is The Cinnamon Bun Bookstore, and the third one is The Christmas Tree Farm. I mean, just look at them. Like, how can you not think that this would be the coziest book series ever? Right? We love to see it. It's very much very, very cheesy, very corny. The writing is not that good. So do not go into this expecting like beautiful prose and really good plot structure, because it's just not there. But it does give Hallmark holiday movie, just the level of corny, and you know, how the plot just really has no urgency, how their problems are not like as big of a deal as the characters maybe portray them. It's just good. It's just good, entertaining, snack, cozy, holiday vibes. That's all they are. And that's all the expectations you can have going into these, because I will tell you now that you are not reading them for good storytelling, because it's just not there. You're reading them purely for atmosphere. If you go into them with that mindset, they will not disappoint you. They will be perfect. Next is one of my all-time favorite book series, and that is Legends and Lattes and Bookshops and Bone Dust. Now, I will always recommend these books at this time of year because they are cozy fantasy, low stakes, kind of the same as the series before, in a sense where you're not reading them for like this fast-paced fantasy read. You're definitely reading them for a slow pace, atmospheric, fun, good time entertainment. Both books, this one is a prequel to this one. However, this one came out first, and I would say read this one first and then read this one because I really enjoyed reading it like that, so I think you will too. Both of them are following our main character, Viv. In this one, Viv has decided to give up a life of slaying monsters. You know, she's hanging up her sword. She opens a coffee shop because she discovered coffee on one of her trips and decided to bring it to a little small town called Thun, where they don't know what coffee is. So she opens this coffee shop and then she meets all of these really fun characters, and it's sort of like a found family-esque trope, and it's just really good, really atmospheric, really cozy. And in Bookshops and Bone Dust, this one I think I liked better than Legends and Lattes. This also follows Viv, but it is in the middle of her monster slaying activities. Viv gets injured during one of their adventures, and she has to stay at this inn in this beachside, cozy, small town. It's kind of the same thing. She meets some really fun, interesting characters along the way, and she sort of takes it upon herself to help a lot of the citizens in this little town. And each book has a tiny little romance subplot, which is so nice. And it's just so good. And you will not be disappointed if you read them. You really won't. I can't wait till he writes another one. I don't know if he's going to in this series, but I really hope so. Last but not least, my favorite book series of all time is A Psalm for the Wild-Built and A Prayer for the Crown-Shy. I love these. And I might think that they are cozy for this time of year because I read them last year at this time, but they're super short, really, really short books. You can get through them so quickly, but there's so many lines and prose that are just scrumptious, truly. Just so well done. Low stakes, again, very low stakes. Just vibes, just good old-fashioned vibes, and existential crisis. Figuring out some heavy topics like what is your purpose in life, but it's done in such a nice, cozy little way that is just perfect. It's perfect. These follow our main characters, Dex and Mosscap. Mosscap is a robot, and Dex is a tea monk. This is almost like a cozy sci-fi in a way, because robots used to help humans and live with humans, whatever. But one day the robots were like, hey, we're done working for you guys. We're gonna go out into nature and, you know, see what the world is about. And humans were like, totally. That sounds like something that you should definitely do. So they let them. And Dex is sort of having, like I said, this existential crisis where they're just like, I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing in this life. I don't know. So they go out into the forest to discover something about themselves. And Dex ends up meeting Mosscap, and Mosscap kind of helps them along on this fun adventure into discovery. It's just so good. It's just so good, truly. And I cannot wait to reread them. I'm gonna reread them. Before the end of the year. Maybe that's what I should have put in that one of those questions. Both of these were 5 stars for me. And both of these were 5 stars for me. All around really good, cozy, fun times in all of those series that I just recommended. Lastly, we're ending on 5, maybe, also cozy books that I'm excited to read before the end of the year. Starting with these two. Hoping to get to these two because I think they're just gonna be super cozy, especially this one. When we get to Christmas season, it's gonna be so nice. I am also excited to read Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies. I have heard that this is very much cozy fantasy with a little bit of romance. It's also a beautiful cover. What is it about cozy books just having amazing covers? All of them. All of them have super nice covers. Don't know. But yeah, Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies I'm excited for. This one follows Emily Wilde obviously. She wants to uncover the secrets of the Hidden Ones, which are an elusive group of fairies. Along the way, she meets a dashing rival, Wendell Bamblebee. How fun, Bamblebee. Such a good, cozy name. She also finds herself on the trail of another mystery. Who is Wendell Bamblebee, and what does he really want? To find the answer, she'll have to unlock the greatest mystery of all, her own heart. This sounds really nice, and I've heard that it has some really nice, like, flowery writing in it, which I love. And there's a sequel. It's called Emily Wilde's Map of the Other Lands, but I haven't gotten it yet because obviously I haven't read this one. Next cozy book that I'm excited to read is The Spell Shop by Sarah Beth Durst. This is cozy fantasy. I believe she's a librarian for spell books, and the library that she works at gets burnt down, so she has to go back to her hometown. And there's a little bit of a romance. There's a bit of a mystery because the Empire is draining power from the island that she is from, Keela is from, and she's determined to make things right. But opening up her own secret spell shop comes with its own risks. The consequence of sharing magic with others is death, and as Keela starts to make a place for herself, she realizes she must break down the walls she has kept so high. It sounds very good, and I've heard that it's very good and very cozy, so I'm excited. And look, another stunning, beautiful cover. Look at this cute little guy. Look at him. It's like a cat with wings. It's gonna be so nice. Next is The Thursday Murder Club by Richard Osman. Yeah, it's a group of old people that live in a peaceful retirement village. It says 4 unlikely friends meet weekly in the jigsaw room to discuss unsolved crimes. Together they call themselves the Thursday Murder Club. When a local developer is found dead with a mysterious photograph left next to the body, the friends suddenly find themselves in the middle of their first life case. They might be senior citizens, but they are cleverer than most. As the bodies begin to pile up, can our unorthodox but brilliant gang catch the killer before it's too late? This sounds so cute. It gives me the same feeling as Only Murders in the Building, which is that show on Disney Plus with Selena Gomez and those other 2 actors that I am totally blanking on their names, so I'll put a picture here. And I love that show. Such a good show. They have like a murder mystery podcast, a true crime podcast, and they go around solving these murders. This kind of gives me the same atmosphere, so I know I'm gonna love it. The last cozy book that I'm excited to read this year, or by the end of this year, is the sequel to The House in the Cerulean Sea. I cannot remember the name of it, but I read this a few months ago and loved it. Absolutely loved it. I just really want to get back into the world and back into those characters because they were just so cute and so fun. This follows Linus Baker. Linus Baker lives a very quiet, just mundane, boring life. He works for a boring corporate company and he goes to work and comes home, does the same thing every single day, right? Linus is a social worker, basically. So he takes care of foster homes, makes sure that they're running right and treating the kids right and everything like that. One day, Linus's bosses come to him and say, hey, we have this new assignment for you. It is top secret. No one can know about it. And it's basically to go to this island and investigate this very mysterious orphanage that's out there. You fall in love with the characters, you fall in love with Linus. It's just such good vibes. And Somewhere Beyond the Sea, that's what it's called. It just came out and I'm super excited to read it. Yeah, that's all I got for you today. A nice, cozy, end of the year little video wrap up. It's gonna be fun. Excited for cozy season and Christmas season. Okay, bye.